welcome to Business Focus, the business program that unravels the complexities of the corporate world and brings you insights from the forefront of industry innovation. I am Maria Ado-Zakari, and in every episode, we dive deep into the dynamic landscape of global business, exploring trends, interviewing specialists, and uncovering the strategies that drive success. Stay tuned for a comprehensive journey through the ever-evolving world of commerce, where we decode the latest market moves and provide you with the knowledge to navigate the intricate web of business. This is Business Focus. On today's episodes, we're going to take a closer look at the Renewed Hope Budget of Renewed Hope, submitted on Wednesday by the President. But before that, let's take a look at the commodity and stock markets. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the stock market first. The highest trade, there's MTN at the top of the list at 26 trades and 1,692 volume at the value of 403,116. Second is Unity Bank with 26 trades also at the volume of 10,753 at the value of 15,742. Dangote Sugar is third on the list at 25 trades at the volume of 16,415 at the value of 973,877. The top losers for today, let's see the top losers for today. There is on the list, the top losers, there's Seplat at 10% positive and Mayer at positive 9.79%, and Sunu Assurance at positive 9.56%. Bottom losers for today, there is Guineans at negative 10%, Omatech at negative 9.88%, and ABUJA at negative 9.68%. Let's take a look at the commodity markets. The commodity market top performers for today. We're back to agriculture. Wheat is first at positive 2.09%. Oats comes close at 1.55%, and rapeseed 1.40%, 451.25 euros. Let's take a look at the commodities. We're going to look at precious metals. Precious metals, gold topped the list at negative 0.04%. Palladium is second at negative 1.47%, and platinum is third at negative 0.28%. The next commodity, let's look at agriculture. Cotton at negative 0.35%. And that's all we have on the markets for today. Do stay tuned for the interview segment. Don't go nowhere. has the budget submitted on Wednesday, and with me is Mr. Joshua, Mr. Wale Joshua. Good morning and welcome to Business Focus.
Good morning, and nice having me today.
Oh, welcome back.
Fine.
So I want to even begin with the name, the theme for the budget. They themed it a renewed hope budget. Budget of renewed hope. Is it befitting or?
It's, if you look at the mantra of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was campaigning, you relate the two together as continuation of his vision and his vision, goals and objective for the nation. So the budget strategically is to renew the hope of Nigeria. How it will renew the hope of Nigeria is by the figures presented and by the indices of the budget. So giving it a budget of renewed hope is not out of place. If you don't renew the hope of Nigerians at this present moment, whatever we do, wherever the effort is being directed to, will not make any sense. We have a lot of stress in the land, and we have a lot of hustling in the land. So hope has to be renewed, and which the budget has actually done by giving a size of 27.5 trillion and being financed by a little lower loan portion of it, projecting a kind of growth in revenue and a kind of we're expecting to see a kind of control on expenditure. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that he will work on blocking the loophole within the expenditure gap. So one of which led to the SSG constituting a board to look at the Procurement Act, to look at how to rejig the Procurement Act, how to make sure that it's well put in place, to position it, to guide against excesses within the government sector, and to make sure that the best is procured for the government.
The last year's budget, 5.83 trillion naira. And it was called the largest budget in the history of Nigeria.
Yep.
And then this is 2023 ending, and the latest budget has been passed for 2024 fiscal year. And it's 27.5 trillion naira. It's also called the largest budget in the history of Nigeria. What do you think about the trends happening?
Well, compared to other African countries like South Africa, like Egypt, and like Kenya, you see that Nigeria is not performing bad. Where we are performing bad is tax to GDP ratio. Where Nigeria is performing badly is the size of our debt. So not really the size of the budget. Budget is only talking about the ambitions of the government, ambition of each government to achieve one or two things for the citizens. If not for ambitions, we will not have been financing or funding our budget through deficits. So that ambition has driven a lot of government heads to sourcing for funds outside our revenue. If not, our expenditure would have been within the range of 10 million. Our budget would have been within the range of 10 million if we are not looking at the debt portion of it. But since the last 10 years, Nigeria has been running on deficit budgets, which calls for funding through the loan. This particular budget will increase our loan by around $10 trillion. So which will equally have its toll on future debt servicing, and equally have its toll on our earning revenue to debt servicing ratio. Revenue to debt servicing ratio has to do with what goes to payment of debt, what goes to payment of interest, to what we earn. Currently for this budget, it's 45%. So if you are paying any tax to the federal government, you know that 45% of whatever you are paying is going to servicing debt. And when you hear federal government is about to collect loan, you know that a portion of your effort a portion of your responsibility as a citizen by payment of tax is going to servicing this loan, which is quite 45% as per what we currently have. Then we see a slack in loan appetite for Nigerians' appetite for loan this year, and that's commendable. We see a growth in the budget size, which is commendable, and we see the directional movement, which is equally commendable. The directional movement is to create job, is to make sure that security is top notch, and education. Apart from that, we are looking at rejigging the social safety net, the social infrastructures. So we are looking at rejigging it to position it for what it's meant to do. Imagine if our social safety net doesn't have a good register to be used, because they were to give the poorest of the poor money. Sometimes in June, the question was, which register do you want to use? Who do you want to call poorest of the poor? Which yardstick did you use to measure them? Where did you get the names from? So all these things has to be done in a right manner. We have to give definitions to who our poor is, and we have to give definition to what we direct our hard-earned monies into. If we are going to do that, we need to plan on what these conditional cash transfers are meant for. Is it meant for spending? Is it meant for financing micro businesses? Is it meant for rejigging the household spending? Is it meant for what particularly? Because we've been giving cash out. That is why auditing that particular sector of Nigerian economy is a little difficult for now.
Okay. So you mentioned the president stated out key sectors he prioritizes: the internal security, job creation areas, as the name Renewed Hope budget. Does it reflect, do you think, those priorities he picked out to finance more than others? Do you think it reflects the hope he wishes to put into Nigerians' minds?
Like it or yes, it reflects it. One of the major problems that Nigeria is facing today, most especially at the subnational level, is security. If we are going to look at security, most states, they produce and are not able to transport it through the value chain to where this constitute value to the states. So if we can address this security, the issue of insecurity, the state will be better off, while federal government equally will be better off. I'm sure that rice production is hampered by the spate of insecurity. Even the mining sector is hampered by the spate of insecurity. Look at the crude oil. We have to take a little lower than expected level, because OPEC gave us 2.1 million barrels per day, but we stated it that we cannot produce that, though that has its own economics, because we have excess crude accounts, and excess crude accounts warehouses whatever the shortfall, whatever the gap is. But at least to be at the safe side, we have to take that courteous approach by reducing our production capacity from 2.1 billion to that 1.77 million barrels per day. That means we are speaking to insecurity within the Niger Delta. So if we are to achieve a renewed hope, secure